What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. You are watching episode 5 of WrestleGeek Weekly on Geektacular.TV. My name is Bruce, aka Geektacular, and with me, as always, every week on WrestleGeek Weekly is Mr. Sean Hopkins.
One of these weeks, I'm gonna get up and walk out while you're doing my intro, just so that you come to a blank empty chair.
Just to screw me up.
Yeah. Where'd Sean go? I am here today, and I'm ready to talk about some wrestling that hopefully will appeal to some geeks.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's get into it. First of all, though, 5 episodes.
5 episodes. We're in our second month.
I know. What's up with that?
That's pretty exciting.
I feel like I've been doing this forever. Do you feel like that?
Really? Because I feel like we just started.
That's funny. I'm trying to remember, when did I not record this show every week? It seems like forever ago. But yeah, 5 episodes.
That was before your life had meaning.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all that didn't matter until we started this. This is when it mattered.
This is what you were building towards that whole time.
So, what do you think this week of wrestling? Good week? Good wrestling week?
I thought it was a great wrestling week. I thought that we got some really good shows from both of the companies, which is such a rarity anymore. It was like a breath of fresh air, and we're gonna get some even more great wrestling this weekend, which I'm sure we'll be talking about at some point over the show.
Who knows? It might be in our top 5 this week.
More to come.
You never know.
Question mark.
Alright, so just in case anybody's never seen the show, we basically we do this about once a week. It's usually online Sunday afternoons. And then we kind of basically just sort of talk about the top things that happened this week. Doesn't have to be the best things, but just kind of the most noteworthy things that happened this week in wrestling.
Really, it's just whatever we want to talk about since we make the show. So
we do what we want.
Exactly.
Alright, so let's just hop into it right here. Number 5, most noteworthy thing of the week. I think we both agreed that this one should go to the kind of building feud or contention between Teddy Long and your man, Johnny.
Mr. Excitement, John Laurinaitis.
So yeah, they've been building this up for a while, for a few weeks now. They're basically competing to see who is going to run both SmackDown and Raw. Teddy obviously thinks that he is the more deserved candidate. Johnny obviously thinks that he is.
But Johnny's got backers. Johnny's got people that support him. He's got Mark Henry. He's got David Otunga. I don't know if you count that as a positive. He's got Christian. Yeah. He's got Alberto Del Rio. Teddy Long just has Santino. I know how you feel about Santino, but he's far from a one-man army.
Never underestimate the Cobra. That's all I have to say. Cobra's always there when you need it.
He strikes out of nowhere. So what do you think that they're doing with this year? Do you think that do you think that eventually we are going to see one of these men running both shows?
Yeah, I don't see them both going away permanently, but I think for a while at least, I think one of them will take over the reins at some point. I think people really for some reason, people really love Teddy Long. I think just because he's so random and ridiculous. Yeah, and people love to hate John Laurinaitis, so I don't see them getting rid of him. People love hating him and loving Teddy Long, so I think they're gonna both be around in some capacity for the long haul. But I think at some point, maybe WrestleMania, maybe later, I think at some pay-per-view we're gonna see some sort of epic battle between the two factions, and I think one of them will win and take control for a while at least.
Yeah, I think that this is going towards WrestleMania, that they're going to build towards a big multi-man match to get, as many people on the card as they can, because they want to give give people that big WrestleMania payday. I just don't know personally whether I'm invested enough to care. That's the only thing, you know, and maybe it's just because it's got John Laurinaitis in it, and he is, I mean, Mr. Excitement, that's the most blatant case of false advertising that I've ever heard. He's just so bland, he seems to suck the life out of everything that he's a part of. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why I'm just not finding myself really invested in this at all. I could care less who ends up running both shows, as long as whoever it is spends as little amount of time on camera as possible.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a really sort of silly kind of feud. Like, there's some things that you can really get into because, you know, it involves, you know, the wrestlers, or, you know, it involves personally some of the, you know, a wrestler that you really like or something like that, or it's something compelling, but I don't feel like it's very compelling. I feel like it's a way to spend some time on the show. It's a way to put together, you know, a really big, epic match. But the feud itself is just kind of silly, ridiculous.
Yeah, I just feel like I have no dog in this fight. You know, like I don't think anybody out there is really going to throw their support behind John Laurinaitis. And, you know, really, I mean, people may like Teddy Long, but how interesting is he to watch these, you know, horrible backstage skits that he's doing with Oksana? It's not good TV, you know. So again, as long as whoever wins spends as little amount of time on TV as possible, I'm fine with it. I don't care either way.
All right, fair enough. So I guess we'll move on to number 4 on the list of noteworthy
I don't
things.
think that's anything else to say about
No, yeah.
Teddy and Ace.
So number 4, I think we agreed, was basically...
It's everything.
Yes, that's an excellent way to put it.
I think that was the gist of everything.
Yeah, Kane keeps coming out randomly for seemingly no reason and beating people up post-match, mid-match, pre-match. Like, there's no reason. It's very confusing, and it occasionally interrupts a match that I want to see continue. So it annoys me a little bit sometimes. I don't know.
I don't think I had as big a problem with it on Raw this week as you had, because at least the match was over.
Yeah.
We had a clean finish to the tag team match before he came out. But I was very confused about why he attacked Randy Orton on SmackDown, and I feel like we didn't get any kind of explanation. All we got was Kane, getting down in Orton's face and saying, "Welcome back." And I don't know. I just feel like the creative team was sitting backstage and they were like, "Well, we got Kane, we got Orton. I mean, we need another WrestleMania match, so let's throw them together." It just comes way out of left field for me. Whereas I felt like I could understand why Cena started feuding with Kane, there was enough reason, or why Kane started feuding with Cena. There was enough reason behind what he was doing, and there was explanation behind what he was doing. This is just random. There's no, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think unfortunately they're falling into kind of a trap of setting up situations first, just like going right into it, and then explaining it later. And I know that that's one way to do it, but I don't feel like that adds anything, and I think it just makes it sort of awkward. Like, oh, we'll just have him attack Orton now, and then next week Orton will, he'll demand revenge on Kane or whatever.
We'll come up with something for it.
Yeah, instead of just, building up to it from the front of that whole confrontation, which I probably would have preferred, because when this kind of thing happens, it's just confusing. And there's not even, like, teasers to what possibly he could be, like a reason or something.
Yeah, and it's not even like, oh, well, Orton's character is really similar to Cena, so he can kind of act as a stand-in for Cena's character, because Orton's not like a white bread babyface,
Right.
So it just, it seemed to come out of nowhere for me, and I don't know what it was particularly, but I don't want to see an Orton Kane WrestleMania match. I feel like you could use both of those people better. You know, something about it doesn't do it for me on this one.
Would you feel better with an Orton Kane match if it was like some kind of special match? Like if it wasn't just a normal match?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about the combination of the two guys, I don't really have any desire to see it right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we've probably seen it enough over the last few years. I don't know. Orton is such a talented wrestler, and Kane is a good wrestler, but, you know, there are so many better people out there that you could match Orton up against. And like I said, I feel like this is just a case of, well, we're getting close to WrestleMania and we need matches on the card, so let's throw people together. You know, maybe that's what's really hurting the match more for me. I just don't. It just feels way too thrown together for my tastes.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. It's just kind of weird. It kind of came out of nowhere. So.
Yeah, but we've got our negative stuff out of the way, I think, mostly. So let's move on to some more positive subjects. And I don't know about you, Bruce, but this week, and really over the past few weeks, I've been super excited at how much they're utilizing in TNA the younger wrestlers, the mid-card wrestlers, the guys who helped to build the company, and the guys who didn't make their name in the WWE. It's you know, it's so refreshing just to have this week in the main event. We had Samoa Joe and Austin Aries, and they were in the main event, and that's fantastic. Those are two of the most talented wrestlers that TNA has on their roster. They haven't been used correctly for a while. Aries has been used a whole lot better than Joe. But neither has been really used to their full potential. So it's so great to see them give that TV time to really good wrestlers.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the main event on Impact this week. I thought it was just a really good match. Just everybody was involved. Like nobody really was thrown out of the ring and then didn't show up again for the rest of the match. Like it was everybody had their shots, and it was really good, and it just kind of solidified, at least for me, that like splitting up beer money was like the best idea TNA has like ever had. Because Bobby Roode and James Storm, like putting them up front is like it makes these like that was a great match. Like James Storm especially in that match really stuck out to me as just he's such a good fun wrestler to watch that. It's just such a really good. I don't know. It's just good to see it, I guess.
Well, it's good to see wrestling matches where people get excited because the wrestling is good, not because Jeff Hardy hits a Swanton Bomb, not because Mr. Anderson hits the Green Day Plunge. Not because this guy who was a big WWE name does his big WWE move.
Right.
They've really been proving to me that the people who are not the WWE names, the homegrown talents, the people like James Storm, like Robert Roode, like AJ Styles, Kazarian, Daniels, those people can carry this show, and those people can make TNA a better product than the WWE. I'll go ahead and say that. I mean, they have, I think, in my opinion, they have a better roster, and it's just a matter of using them correctly, and we're really seeing that a lot more. I don't know how much we can attribute that to the departure of Vince Russo from the creative team. I don't know how much we can attribute that to Dave Lagana being added to the creative team. But I don't care. It's good TV and it's good wrestling. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that they're doing the right thing and kind of and pushing a lot of their own talent versus recycled WWE people. Because I feel like if they really are trying to go after WWE, you know, in some capacity. I mean, obviously they're pretty far off right now, but in terms of numbers,
just a tad.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, if they want to be that other big, you know, behemoth, they don't need to use recycled WWE people. You know, that doesn't have to be their thing, and that was their thing for a long time.
Yeah, what they need to do is they need to push these homegrown people. They need to push the X division. They need to, you know, bring in. I understand that, you know, you want to bring in people like Jeff Hardy. You want to bring in people like Kurt Angle. You want to bring in people like Bully Ray. Use those people as special attractions. Use those people to bolster your talent ranks and put over, you know, the people who are going to be there for the next 10, 15 years. And that's what we've been seeing, and it's just, that's what we should have been seeing for the last couple of years. And, you know, it almost makes it that much worse that we haven't seen it. Because this is what we could have been having, and imagine how good it would be if this is what we had been having for years now.
Yeah, it's a shame that it kind of took that long for them to sort of figure it out, but, I mean, I don't know. I think once they get this going and people, you know, even like you said, bringing in people to have as like special attractions, or like, hey, you know, we have these couple people who show up every once in a while. You know, you should watch our show. I mean, that's one thing, but having them wrestle like every night and like having them as like the main attractions all the time in like every episode of Impact, and have them like all over the place, pay-per-views and stuff. I mean, it's good to have them as kind of auxiliary people to push things along. But, I mean, yeah, I don't want to see them out there every week, probably.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, Kurt Angle is always going to be a better wrestler than 95% of the wrestlers out there. He's better than a lot of the TNA roster. And I don't have a problem with, you know, Kurt Angle holding the TNA world title. And part of that may be that Angle's been around TNA so long that I don't really view him as a WWE cast-off anymore. Right. But part of that is also, you know, I mean, he's a great wrestler, but I don't want to see him in the main event scene, you know, nonstop. I don't want to always see him in world title matches. I want to see him putting over people like Robert Roode, putting over people like James Storm, which he's done, and, you know, it's done a lot for both of them. It's been great to build them, you know, and I want to see more of that from all of the old WWE talents.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. All right, so I guess we'll move on to the second most noteworthy thing of the week.
And on most shows, this would be the biggest news of the week, but this is our show, and we've got something way better for number one. So
we do what we want.
Exactly.
WrestleGeek Weekly, yo. Okay, anyway, I digress.
Sorry, that was non sequitur.
So, the number two thing of the week, I think we're going with Rock versus Cena. Dun, dun, dun.
Got a lot more build this week. It got a lot more build with Cena and Rock face-to-face at the end of Raw. Promoing, having a little promo off. Who do you think came out on top?
I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting how they sort of like twisted the same comments from both of them in like two different directions. Like the part about them like fighting for the back and stuff like that. Rock was like, "I don't fight for the back. I fight for me." Or like, "I fight for the back so that
I fight for the people."
Yeah, I fight for the fans. They don't have to watch you suck every night. Like, I don't know. I feel like in a, I guess you could call it a shoot-off. I don't know what you call it. But I think it's hard to beat The Rock in something like that. He's pretty good, I feel like.
I don't know. I think Cena may have done it on Monday. Because, I mean, I don't know. A lot was made out of, you know, The Rock had promo notes written on his wrist. And a lot of people out there in the internet wrestling community made a really big deal out of Cena calling out Rock on his promo notes and wondering, oh, well, did Rock really need notes? Were they written there so Cena could have something to call him out on? Was it all just a work? Was it all, you know, was Rock really, like, upset that he was called out on it? There's been a lot made out of that. But I think that when you taking all of that out of the equation, when you look at the two promos, I think I would be hard pressed to say that Rock looked better on Monday night than Cena. I think Cena, Rock had his long extended opening, and then Cena came out there, and Cena really ripped him apart, and then just got out of Dodge. And I don't know if something Cena said Rock, but he seemed a little shakier. He seemed a little, he stumbled over, some of his words at the close of the promo. That's true. I liked how John Cena came out here, and, he may have pulled me over to his side for WrestleMania. I don't know.
It's always hard for me. John Cena's one of those people who, like, when I'm watching him, it's hard for me to tell if people are going to, like, love him that night or hate him. He's just so polarizing, and he's, like, the way that they use him, like, he's like a yo-yo.
Well, I mean, further than that, like, I have a hard time knowing whether I'm going to like him or hate him that night, Because it changes. I mean, there are some nights where he goes out and what he does is very entertaining. And then there are some nights where he goes out and what he does is very old hack, and we've seen it a million times. I think that what I'm hoping most out of this feud is that all this the character development that we've seen out of Cena over the last few weeks, months, with his harder edge that he's kind of built up when it comes towards Rock. I hope that this all just isn't for naught, that it just doesn't disappear after the match, and Cena goes back to being hustle, loyalty, respect Cena, right afterwards. So let's hope that there's some real change that's coming from this.
Yeah, I think Cena's been kind of doing the thing that he normally does for a really long time. So I think it would be good to see it kind of change up a little bit. And, I mean, if there's any time to do it, it's a match this big and this kind of epic to bring it out,
And I also want to comment just real quick that at least in the opening video promo this week, I don't know if you caught it, but they used quotes from John Cena's promo from the last Monday Night Raw, where he talked about how he fought for all of the guys in the back that always wanted to be a pro wrestler. But then, on the video package, if you watched it, it was dubbed over. And the promo was changed to say, I fight for everyone in the back who wants to be a WWE superstar.
Really?
And I was really disappointed in that, because I feel like that took away pretty much the entire point of Cena's promo from the week beforehand. He's not saying that all those people in the back wanted to be superstars because he's calling The Rock a superstar. He says they want to be wrestlers, and that was the whole point, because Rock doesn't want to be a wrestler anymore.
Right.
So I was really disappointed in that, and Rock commented on that in his promo, and he also used pro wrestler. That was his wording of it. So I'm curious to see what happens next week if they dub over that in the opening video promo and make Rock say WWE superstar. That's just, with all the great wrestling that we've got recently, it's very sad that they can't get over the wrestling equals bad stigma that they've gotten over the last year or so.
Yeah, I think I've missed that. That was yeah, that's kind of weird. I guess maybe I don't know, maybe they told him to go at one angle and he worded it like that. They thought it was too weird. I don't know.
They're so afraid of the word wrestling and calling their guys wrestlers, and they're superstars, and it's sports entertainment,
Yeah,
but it's really disappointing that. And excuse my language here, but it's really disappointing that they bastardized the promo like that and totally changed the meaning of it.
Right. Yeah, it's weird that they would do that. I don't know. The very next week, and like, I don't know. It's just, I think it would be weird anytime if they took like a previously recorded clip and they changed the words in it to make it mean something different. Like, that's just awkward. That's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure in their minds, in WWE corporate's minds, they didn't change anything. It was just updating the verbiage to be correct. But it really, for me at least, it completely changed the meaning of that whole promo.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't even know why they wouldn't want to just call them, like, every other federation calls their people wrestlers. Like, nobody else tries to hide that. I don't know why
Well,
it's so important.
WWE is different. WWE, they want to set themselves apart. They want to own what they do. I don't know.
Yes. Anyway, all right. So
Yeah, that rant is over.
so do you want to talk about the number one thing that you're looking forward to?
Absolutely, and I don't know about you, but I am really excited that because this is going to be the very first time that we talk about this on WrestleGeek Weekly. 5 weeks in, and we haven't gotten a chance to talk about them yet, but
We've been busy.
Sunday, March 4th, Ring of Honor is holding an internet pay-per-view for their 10th anniversary show. New York City, we're not going to go over the whole card, but I am going to go ahead and throw out a couple matches on the card, the three, what I perceive to be the three biggest matches on the card, and just talk very briefly about, what you should be looking for and why you should check this out. So tonight we're going to see, in the ROH World Tag Team Championship match, we're going to see the Briscoes taking on the Young Bucks. We're going to see Kevin Steen continue his war against ROH by taking on Jimmy Jacobs in a no disqualification match. And the main event of the evening, we'll see the world champion Davey Richards team with Kyle O'Reilly to take on Eddie Edwards and Adam Cole. So those are three great matches right there. And the pay-per-views what are they, like $15?
Yeah, they're really cheap.
That $15 is worth it for those three matches alone.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I definitely appreciate about feds like ROH who have iPay-per-views, because they're so much cheaper than doing it through, like, through your cable or whatever.
And not only are they cheaper, but a lot of times they're longer.
Yeah.
You get more wrestling. They're not full of the backstage segments, so you're not paying to see Teddy Long and Oksana talking to each other in the back and making sexual innuendos. You pay $15 and you get 4 hours of incredible wrestling. How can you turn that down? And you get to see the people who are going to be the stars in the future. If you look at some of the best names in TNA and WWE right now, you look at people like Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, AJ Styles, you've got CM Punk, you've got Daniel Bryan. In the WWE's farm leagues, in FCW, you've got Claudio Castagnoli, you've got Chris Hero. Ring of Honor is where these people, it's not where they started, but that's where they really made their names, a lot of these people. And so if you want to see who are going to be the movers and shakers in 5 years, who are going to be the people that are, taking up your TV time in the bigger companies, you need to check out this pay-per-view. I don't know how much more highly I could praise ROH. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, Bruce, but since their sale to Sinclair Broadcasting last year, I haven't even found the ROH product as interesting as it used to be. But the fact of the matter is the actual in-ring product, the wrestling, is head over heels better than anything you're going to see on television. Anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm sure I have not seen nearly as many ROH matches as you have. I'm sure. I'm sure of it. But what I have seen, I have really enjoyed. And like you said, tons of people who are in TNA and WWE now, like big people, were at some point or another, involved with ROH in the past, doing, building up a lot of the skills that, people love them for now. And some of them arguably maybe have even had matches in ROH that could rival some of their bigger matches, in TNA or WWE.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot more, because they're sort of more independent, or I guess they have less restrictions than people like WWE or TNA. They can also get, they can do things that are more kind of creative and more sort of outside the box in terms of like wrestling match styles and even specific moves that they can do, or they can, I don't know, I feel like they have more freedom because they don't have as many restrictions, like corporate sort of restrictions.
Well, there's not only that, but there's also the wrestlers themselves have this real drive that, I don't want to say they lose it when they get to the WWE or TNA, but when you're in one of the top two companies in the world for what you do, obviously you're not gonna be as driven to get to that point. But all these people in ROH, they're hungry. They want to be the next stars. They want to be, you look at the ROH world title history, and it's got people like Loki. It's got people like Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, who unfortunately is retired, but people might know as Desmond Wolfe from TNA. You've got CM Punk. I don't know if I said him already, but I'll say him again. He's that good. Those are some of the best wrestlers in the industry today. If you want to see, who those people are going to be 5 years from now, this pay-per-view is for you. Definitely check it out. And if you don't get the pay-per-view, if we don't have it up in enough time for you to get the pay-per-view, please order the replay. It's worth it. It's yours forever. You can watch it as many times as you want for $15. That's it. That's the cost of a DVD. Check it out. Just check it out. If you spend, $40, $50 on a TNA pay-per-view, on a WWE pay-per-view, and you don't know why you're still doing it, I beg you, drop $15 on this pay-per-view tonight, and you'll find a whole new appreciation for wrestling.
Yeah, and and for people who maybe don't know a whole lot about sort of the wrestling industry, ROH is considered to kind of be sort of the third biggest company, right? Generally.
Yeah, pretty much. And right now they're the only company that has distribution on like the local cable channels and stuff like that in multiple areas. Mm-hmm. So they're broadcast on Fox and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do have a show. It only airs in certain regions, but it does air like kind of all over the East Coast and a smattering of other places.
I don't get it here, unfortunately.
See, I do get it here. We get it from the Pittsburgh station. I think it's a Fox station or something, a Fox affiliate. But yeah, it's actually really good. If you ever get a chance to watch it, or if you go on ROH's website, I think you can see if it's on in your area anywhere.
That's ROHWrestling.com.
Yep, and it comes on. I believe it comes on every Saturday night. So if it does happen to air in your area, you should take a look. It's the production quality has actually gotten pretty good since they've started syndicating it. They used to have another show on a different, I think it was like a satellite network or something.
That was longtime readers of Wrestling News World might recognize that as where I got my start on the website, was writing weekly blogs about ROH on HDNet.
Yeah. So they did have a show for a while, and they kind of shut it down for a little bit and sort of redid it and shifted management around and stuff like that. But now that it's back on the air on cable, the production quality is actually really good, and it's a fun watch if you get it in your area. So you should definitely.
And the good thing about these iPay-per-views, as long as you have an internet connection, you can get them. Yeah. So just go to GoFightLive.TV and poke around the site until you find the event for tonight and check it out.
Yeah, I've seen.
I think I can put the Geektacular stamp of approval.
Yeah, I've gotten a few different iPay-per-views from that website, and it's really good.
Yeah, not only the wrestling, but the quality of the stream is good. You're gonna have little hiccups here and there, but it's nothing that ruins the experience. And 9 times out of 10, the replay is up the next day, and it's crystal clear.
Yeah, it's a really good deal, and I mean it's just no frills. It just works. So it's really good. If you ever see any other federations who have pay-per-views on there, I would definitely check those out because it's a really good site, and the price is always excellent. You can replay them over and over again. It's a really good deal.
They are yours for as long as this company is in existence. Has their stuff on the internet. I mean.
Yeah, so even if you watch it live, or if you miss it live, you can just buy it later for the same price. Watch it as if you were watching it live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything for this week? I think.
So. Anything else?
Just please go out and check out that pay-per-view.
Yeah. And you're going to be covering it on WrestlingNewsWorld.com, yes?
It will be up. We'll be covering it as it's going on, so come over to the site. I hope none of you Geektacular watchers will actually come to the site. I hope you will all order the pay-per-view. But if you refuse to order the pay-per-view, at least come over to the website and read about it, and hopefully I can change your mind on ordering.
You can get the pay-per-view and then read the transcript of it, or Sean's take on it later.
See how accurate I am. See how many moves I miss.
Try to call Sean out on it next week, maybe. Okay.
Bring it on.
That's a challenge. That is an official Geektacular.TV challenge. All right. Well, thanks for watching this week. In case you didn't notice while you were watching, you can get to all of our shows on Geektacular.TV. You can. This is our universal sign for look at the stuff on the bottom of your screen. You can check us out on all these different social media sites: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Google+.
We're very social.
We are very social. We love to socialize. So feel free to go there and check that out. Yeah. Anything else?
Before we get out of here, I will make sure to check out pwgproject.blogspot.com for my ongoing journey to review every single PWG event ever put on DVD. This is another small company like Ring of Honor. I personally like them better. They run many fewer shows. But I did just get up the DVD review where they crowned their first ever PWG champion. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, definitely go check that out. And as always, WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Go there if you need any information about pro wrestling, the news, what's happening, who's doing what, all that good stuff. Make sure to check out WrestlingNewsWorld.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for checking out episode 5 of WrestleGeek Weekly, and we'll see you next week.
Do the snap, man.